How many of you have heard this story before, many times? So how do we imagine it anew? If miracles could permanently fix them and us, they'd be fine right now. We'd be fine. Let's try to enter into the story. They'd already seen death do its worst. They'd seen new life that they couldn't explain. And still, here they are back at the lake. Same boat, same water, same work. Resurrection had happened and they're back to fishing, just like before. And this is the Sea of Tiberias, named after the Roman emperor at that time, named by Herod Antipas for the Roman emperor. It was a political courtesy. The empire that named this lake is the same empire that executed the man now standing on the shore. And John uses that name without comment. But the water doesn't belong to Tiberias. It never did. This is Galilee, an actual body of water. It's a working ecosystem, feed and reed and current. It's not a metaphor. It's real. It's alive. And these men work this water. The sea is their economy. It's not their backdrop. The disciples return to this living world because it's the only solid thing left in their lives now. I'm going fishing, Peter says. We'll go with you. When you don't know what to do with your own grief, when I don't know what to do with my own grief, we tend to go back to what's familiar, to what we know, back to the old boat, because at least you know how that works. Except they fish all night and catch nothing. We all know what it's like to work hard and come up empty, not as a metaphor, but as a fact. Think about that within your own lives. Maybe it's a relationship you've tended to for years that still hasn't healed. A child you've done everything right by, and it hasn't been enough. Work you've poured yourself into that didn't land. A prayer that you've prayed so many times the words have become rote. You know the feeling. You went out. You worked. You came back with nothing to show for that long night. And we're a congregation, small but mighty, that has staked something on justice. In the season, Earth Month, that emptiness takes a particular shape. We plant trees, we sort our recycling, we show up at climate marches, and still by late summer, early fall, the smoke still settles over the East Bay Hills. We vote, we sign, we donate to the Black Wealth Builders Fund, and still houseless encampments still line the streets in Oakland, San Leandro, and so many other places. Some of us drive past these tent encampments on the way up the hill to church. We know the spots under the overpasses, the scrubs along the freeway, the little pullouts, the view of the bay. We drive by quickly, sometimes not even noticing on our way to church. Some days we don't even let ourselves look, never mind think about it. And then there at daybreak, someone is standing on the shore, another stranger. And they hear a voice. Friends, haven't you any fish? He doesn't say, you're doing great. He doesn't say, everything happens for a reason. He tells the truth. You're exhausted. And you have nothing to show for it. They're seen. They answer with one word, no. Sometimes that's the most honest prayer. No. Whatever language you carry it in, whatever tradition or none, we all know this place. No, I don't see the impact. No, I don't feel the hope. No, I don't know how much longer I can carry this. The way it lives in our body, in our neck, in our jaw, our heart, our gut. Sleepless nights. And then the stranger gives advice that sounds ridiculous. Throw your nets over to the right side of the boat and you'll find some. Doesn't sound like a heckler from the shores. It sounds like a possibility. Move the net just a few feet. That's it. There's no big strategic plan. It's not this grand gesture. Just one little act of trust in the same water that just disappointed you. And they do it. Maybe out of stubbornness, maybe muscle memory. Maybe it's just a leap of faith. There was something in that voice beyond what they could understand. And suddenly the net is so full, they can barely even haul it in. And then one of them sees it first on that early morning dawn when everything's hazy. The disciple whom Jesus loved, whoever that might be, says, it's him. It's him. And he doesn't arrive at this alone. Someone else recognizes what he can't see yet and hands it to him. Notice that Peter didn't wait. There's some detail about putting on war clothes before jumping in the water. Most people take their things off, but for some reason he does that. It's in his body before he can even think. He just jumps in, he dives in. We could call him impulsive, or we could call him just led by faith. He didn't see him first. There was just something. He jumped in without seeing. He jumped in because he trusted, he believed. And so somehow they get to the shore, and then they find something really strange. Jesus already has fish. He's not using the fish that they hauled in. He already has bread. And there's a charcoal fire. And that phrase is really particular. The Greek word that's used is used one other time in John's story. There was a charcoal fire before Jesus was executed. And Peter, 3 times at that charcoal fire, denies him. So there on that charcoal fire, burning on the beach, he's grilling up the fish. And so the risen one, whomever this is, this person, isn't waiting for them to prove their worth or earn it. He's not hungry for results. He's hungry for them. for their relationship. He's hungry to love them. Come and have breakfast. Before any apologies, before any strategy, before any programs, come and eat. This is a charcoal fire. Three times, Peter can feel it in his body. It's in his muscle memory. I remember this charcoal fire where I said, I don't know him. It was the worst night in his life. The other fire, same fragrances, same crackle, but it's a different script. And three times, instead of denial, there's breakfast. Instead of I don't know him, there's, do you love me? Instead of I swear I'm not with him, the risen one says, feed my sheep. Repair. In this spiritual story, rarely means erasing the past. It means going back to the same place with different words. Back to the charcoal fire. Back to the denial. In our tradition, we say people aren't frozen in time in their worst moment, like Peter was, his worst moment. I'll never deny you. We believe in transformation. That self is not a fixed thing. That harm can be repaired. That a community can hold what one person can't. But the story doesn't just offer cheap grace. Jesus doesn't say, hey, Peter, it's fine, no worries. It didn't happen. He doesn't say grovel until I can tell you really mean it. He asks a completely different question. Do you love me? 3 times. Love, not shame. Love becomes the center of the story. Do you love me? Peter goes on to say, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. He says, feed my sheep. Feed my lambs. Love isn't a feeling here. It's a job description. It comes with livestock. For us here in these hills, in this city, in this particular spring, feed my lambs sounds like protecting children and queer and trans beloveds from harm. Standing with black and brown neighbors when systems treat them as expendable. Defending unhoused neighbors. Guarding the bay, the hills, the redwood, the air we breathe. Because these too are God's dependents, God's lambs, because we're all connected in this web of life. So I have to ask us, where in our real Skyline lives have we chosen to feel sad about injustice instead of changing something concrete in our lives, in our priorities, personally and collectively, in our budget, our calendar, our land? Stay with that. The harder the question, the more we need that meal. And if you came here today with empty nets, all kinds of grief about meaning and purpose and impact, that kind of grief that takes up residence in your body and won't be reasoned out, then this story is for you. If you have your own charcoal fire, some night you keep replaying, some words you wish you could take back, a silence you wish you had broken, the story knows your name. The risen one doesn't say, prove it. Prove yourself by fixing everything, and then you can rest. The risen one says, have breakfast. This is how resurrection becomes sustainable, because we can't do it. Climate justice, racial justice, democracy work on adrenaline and guilt alone. We need fires we didn't build, and communities that can hold us when we can't hold ourselves. And holding someone else when they can't either. Soon enough, Jesus will tell Peter that this path will cost him. Love that feeds lambs will put you at odds with wolves. It was Tiberius, it was Caesar Augustus. There's always wolves. There's always empire. And creation-loving faith puts us at odds with extraction and indifference. But before any of that, on this ordinary shoreline, the break of dawn, there's peace, there's grace. Just this, just here. There's a table that's not in a sanctuary, but at the edge of the waters, the edge of the living world. Water, fire, fish, bread, people. A breakfast on a planet that is damaged and still stubbornly beautiful. There's one, call the Christ, the risen one, holy one, love, who looks at us and asks, do you love me? If your answer is yes, maybe I'm just tired, I want to, that's enough. Come to the fire. Eat. Eat what's offered, then go and feed. Tend, defend, and repair this shared world with companions by your side under the wounded, beautiful sky. Amen.